The next day, his wife started sending me text messages and had a lot of questions about how often we met, who contacted whom on Messenger, and many more. She wrote she thinks it's so strange that he blames absolutely everything on me, when he obviously was in on it. I messaged her that I have no reason to lie for him anymore, and that either he had been lying to me about his feelings all the time, or he has been lying on the phone the day before. And it seems that he starts believing his own lies. But there came so many questions from her that I told her she could just call me, and she did. I was angry at him, but still I was holding back with the whole truth. I told her all the crap he told me on the phone, and that I was shocked. I told her that the whole story about me trying to kiss him and he rejecting me when I came with the Christmas gifts, that this was made up, all of it. We haven't been alone at all. Erik was there all the time. This did not happen. There was never anything going on at work situations. But I didn't give away any details of what really went on between us. I didn't tell her about any of the sweet things he used to whisper me in my ear, or how he used to drag me on his lap. She asked me specifically if there was anything going on before their wedding. Well, the truth was that he said that he had a crush on me since day one, already a year before their wedding, and a long time before his father died, so his depression was not the cause for his feelings. I had noticed his interest right from the beginning, and he had admitted to it as well. But I wouldn't tell her that. Even if he was really hurting me and screwing me over, I didn't want to hurt him. I said we did not have an affair before your wedding, and that was the truth. I felt I owed it to her to have this conversation, and I tried to answer all questions as truthfully as possible, and at the same time I was trying to protect him. She said that she's so tired of his lies, and that I can just have him, and that my husband is just amazing, maybe we should just switch husbands. I didn't answer to that. I told her that I was struggling with my depression, and somehow he got me out of there. And that I know it was not right, but I fell in love, and I couldn't stay away. And looking back, I think he wanted out. He was pulling away at the end. He didn't end it, but I think we were on the way to end it. And that I also felt he was messing with my head, but I wasn't sure. She sounded surprised, like this didn't resonate with her. She told me again that he is blaming everything on me. I said that I was under the impression that it was the same for him, but I didn't give her any details. I didn't tell her that he asked me to meet up the first time. I didn't tell her that it was him who kissed me the first time we kissed. I couldn't. I still wanted them to work out, and I still wanted him to be happy. I made sure to clarify that we never had sex and that he never planned on leaving her. I asked her how the last 2 weeks had been, and she said that everything was great. He was finally helping at home. He came with flowers, telling her every day how much he loves her, and that he was crying every day and begging that she won't leave him. And then she said that they are having the greatest sex, 3 times a day. Unnecessary detail, too much information. Anyway, I told her that maybe he needed a wake-up call to appreciate her again. And if the last 2 weeks were great, then it's just to enjoy it, and that he actually might be a better husband now. I felt we had a nice conversation. She seemed nice, but she was hurting a lot. She was really mad at him. It did not sound like she would forgive him anytime soon. She got him begging and crying now. She got him 100%. The question was if she would give him a second chance. Right now it sounded like she will either kick him out or make his life a living hell forever. I felt some kind of relief after our conversation. I felt good. I defended myself at least a little bit this time. In my heart I wished them all the best and hoped that things would get back to normal for all of us. But they didn't. My husband was making a big effort. When I went to work, there were flowers in my car. I got presents, a lot of loving messages throughout the day, and it was great in the beginning. But he went overboard. He started watching me when I was sleeping. and told me the next morning how cute I was when I sleep and what noises I would make. It was getting creepy. Every time I got a message, he would ask who I'm chatting with, and he wouldn't leave my side. And if we were watching just TV, I could feel him staring at me. One time we were at a shopping center, and I said, I just have to get something quick at the pharmacy. Maybe you can just have a look at the shoes on sale. Maybe there's anything you like. No, we come with you. And I exploded. Can I go 5 meters alone? Can I have 1 minute for myself? I feel smothered and controlled. And he gasped, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I was sorry I said that. Not the way to redeem myself. But after this little outburst, things went better. He was great again and not creepy. I had really good moments, and even days, but the dark clouds would come regularly. I was still on Johannes herbs, and they would keep my emotions under control. But when the dark clouds came, I was fighting the tears. I was on the edge of a breakdown at all time. Just if they would play a song on the radio that reminded me of our time, it would depress me. Or if I saw a company car from his company driving by, and even that he was never sitting in it, it would throw me totally off balance. I would be depressed for days, and sick to my stomach. And I didn't understand why. I had bad breakups before, with guys that I had a real relationship with, where we were living together. And with Andy, it was only 2 months. Not even a real relationship, an emotional affair at most. So how could it be that I was still so attached and that I was still suffering? I asked Dr. Google and Dr. YouTube, and I started searching about love addiction, because I felt clearly that there was something more going on than a broken heart. I still had compulsive thoughts from the second I woke up until I fell asleep. My research led me to limerence, and this was so fitting. It's basically an addiction to one person, where you would get a high when you're with the person and serious withdrawal when you're apart. Researchers had found in people with limerence that their levels of serotonin in the brain had enhanced mood swings and obsessive behavior. People in limerence would ignore red flags, and they would rather do everything to keep their loved one. Not rational, obsessive thoughts, suffering, no impulse control, being completely carried away by irrational passion, enormous sexual attraction, and it carries on. And it says this state can continue for many decades. Great. I read more about this topic and came to intermittent reinforcement. There have been experiments on rats and doves, that if a group of them pressed a button, they would get food, and they would press the button when they were hungry and lost interest over time. But the other group would only get food at some of the times when they pressed the button. It was unregulary, and the animals would get obsessive, pressing the button all the time, would get hooked and couldn't stop. They got addicted. And when it comes to relationships, this is one of the most powerful manipulations. If someone shows you affection and then pulls back, and suddenly showers you with love again, and then gets cold again, it messes with your head. And that was the first time I really recognized and understood this hot and cold behavior. Him pulling away, always when we were getting close. I was so confused at that time, but it became so clear to me now. He really messed with my head. I always had explanations ready, that he maybe had a guilty conscience, or that he was struggling with his feelings and therefore needed to cool it a bit. But no, this always had been a behavior pattern of him. So he actually got me addicted.
the night, but it's the only way of life. It's black holes pulling me inside of this black heart, the black soul underneath this black, black sky. Maybe you should come with me. I'll take you to
And I was thinking, no, he's not that smart. He wouldn't know about such manipulation tactics. But he was playing this hot and cold game, and I went from happy to miserable. And I got addicted, and I couldn't get out of this madness.
black bird, black moon, black sky, black light, black everything, black, black heart, black keys, black diamonds, black out, black everything, black, black everything, everything, all black.
I was researching more and came over the topic narcissists. And there are two types. The one who just is self-absorbed and really doesn't care about anyone, and who would be arrogant. And nah, Andy wasn't that. But there's the second type, the covert narcissist, the shy and charming one. He would charm you and then drop you and so on, and when he got you, he would put you down constantly to make you feel bad and him feel better. And when you confront him, it would be all your fault, and he wouldn't understand why you would think that anything would be wrong. He was just working a lot, or whatever. He would do something that is called gaslighting. In my country we don't even have a word for this, and I didn't understand it at that time. But I understand it now. It's another kind of manipulation. Gaslighting is when someone twists reality and tries to make you believe that your memory is wrong. That things that have happened never happened. And he was just fitting in all the descriptions. Textbook. He probably never loved me, but he controlled me. And that's exactly what makes narcissists feel good. I understood this on some level, but not as deeply as I should have. I was still making excuses for him. That maybe he really just had a bad conscience and therefore pulled away. Or maybe that the big feelings just vanished as fast as they came for him, while I got stuck and he basically just wanted out. I had no doubt that I had been receiving intermittent reinforcement on my end, but I didn't want to believe that he was intentionally messing me up. My husband started seeing a psychologist to remain sane in all this mess. We wouldn't talk much about it, but he said one time, "You know, after what I told the shrink about you, he is convinced that you were not out of your depression, but probably in the middle of it. Just think of the insomnia." Oh shit. Again, I researched, and it looked like I had my depression, where I couldn't get out of bed, followed by a manic episode. Symptoms of a manic episode are a long period of feeling high or overly happy mood, having racing thoughts, increasing activities, sleeping little and not being tired, high sex drive, no impulse control. Check on all points, fantastic. Limerence, love addiction, brainwashed by a narcissist, gaslighted, manic depressive, just pick one. I felt like a complete nutcase. I stopped taking Johannes herbs. I had to watch my mood swings carefully, and without any influencing herbs. Did I just have one episode of a depression followed by a manic episode because of the flight? Or did the flight trigger a bipolar disorder and I will struggle with the highs and lows the rest of my life? I was thinking all the time that I was just following my heart. I had no idea that there was so much more going on, that had nothing to do with love, but more with the sickness. I thought I had a depression and he healed me. I wasn't so sure about that anymore, but realizing that gave me finally some emotional distance. I started seeing that he wasn't that great, that he might have been just a sick person, and that my feelings might have come from a sick place as well, and might not have been love at all. And I felt that I was getting better mentally. There were still highs and lows, but they were not as deep or high as they were before. I had my emotions under control without Johannes herbs. Things were finally looking good.